The judge told LIEnette she better lawyer up, and basically she's screwed. And LIEnette stormed out. Oh yeah, Deuce, he completely lied and stole from you as well. It was quite the day of court today in Levy County, Florida. You know, where us northern Indians love to hang out during the winter. And the courtroom was empty in the beginning, but filled up extremely fast. Now, George and Deanna, George being in the thumbnail lawsuit, Deanna being in the Trespass 5 lawsuit, were there on site. Now, to get everybody up to speed, we were stalked, harassed, our businesses interfered with by LIEnette and Crook in Otter Creek, literally to the point of LIEnette and Crook purchasing 1.66 acres across the street from us. Then, out of fame and fortune, at least ambitions of it, Deuce, otherwise known as Bruce Matskins, a lawyer, LOL, who finds out about this case on the internet, wants that fame, wants that fortune. He gives out all kinds of promises of money. You're gonna get what the hell's money. He's gonna destroy my entire YouTube empire. What'd he do? Well, the judge said it very plainly to LIEnette. I'm gonna get to it. He destroyed her. So he makes all these grandiose promises of money and fame, which all these freaks and fools have gotten that fame, right? And yet there's no money. And yet you're going to hear real soon that the judge literally says money is going to be paid out by LIEnette. Oh boy, it was so good. So the courtroom is empty. I log in at 8:45. Now George is already there on site with Deanna. They're there on site. LIEnette's nowhere near around. George messages me. She says, I'm here. My anxiety is over the roof. Hear any crickets? Anybody sucking on chicken? Okay. All right. So I'm in there at 8:45 and immediately I'm let in, which is not normal when you're on a Zoom. Usually it's, you got to wait for the host to let you in. And I'm immediately let in, but there's no sound whatsoever. But what I can see is individuals actually in the courtroom, and it was courtroom B. I see a bald guy who I later find out is Dan Owens. Yeah, the individual who told Levy County Sheriff Department to not enforce our civil protection orders against LIEnette and Crook. That's going to be a further lawsuit down the road against Levy County. So, you got the suited man to the right, who is Dan Owens, and completely and totally bald. You got a nice dressed lady to the left. Now, usually you have plaintiffs, defendants. Think of it like a wedding. You walk into a courtroom, they go, are you with the bride or are you with the groom? Bride over here, groom over here. Well, in this case, plaintiff, defendant. But this is an unusual courtroom because this place just starts packing in with people. And so another bald guy walks in. Two women walk in. One lady leaves. They're all talking. They're all plugging in laptops. They're laughing. And I'm sitting there on the other side of Zoom thinking, are they laughing because they know about these cases? Well, come to find out, since the bald guy is Dan Owens, boy, do they ever know about these cases. And then the lady comes back in. Brett and Therese get on to Zoom at 8:53. You know, Madam Mayor and her husband, because they're a part of this process with the Trespass 5. They have filed suit against LIEnette for frivolous filings, which all came from Deuce. Remember, he has a contract with Stark, with LIEnette, how they're going to split up portions of all the one money. And the judge was very clear. There would be no money going to LIEnette. LIEnette would be paying. But I'm going to get to that, I promise. So Brett and Therese are in there, and I wave in Zoom because they're in there, and they waved back to me on Zoom because I'm in there. And everybody else, the staff, is in the courtroom. I kind of feel tension being on the other side, and I'm texting George and saying, hey, Brett and Therese are on now. And she goes, yeah, we're in the side room with Randy right now. So they're there with Randy. They're discussing what's going to happen when they go into the courtroom and how that works. Bailiff then enters, and then Rex, who's a bailiff as well, another deputy, enters as well. So now we have two bailiffs in there. Then four more randoms come in. I mean, there's just people everywhere at this point. And then LIEnette enters at 8:55, completely and totally alone, and freshly dyed dark hair. Who do you think LIEnette's trying to look like? I mean, this is the individual who is sought out, literally sought out, convicted murderer, married him, then divorced. Oh, but now she's with Crook, her 7th divorce. Living illegally on a piece of property in Florida because she thought she was going to get money from us. Okay, so LIEnette comes in with freshly dyed hair. Now, keep in mind, LIEnette has very publicly stated they don't even know where their next meal is going to come from. But if you were dumb enough, if you're watching right now and you were dumb enough to give them money, give her money, I want you to know that that money is going towards her dyed hair. That's what it's going towards. Not food for a child, not a home for a child. It's going towards dyed hair. There you go. Oh, now she's going to make a public post and say, that was my money that I spent to dye my hair. That wasn't any donated money. Well, please, somebody tell me how she gets any money that isn't donated money. I mean, she's public about that's the only way they survive is off of donations. Money. And then she claims she has never made any money whatsoever with her 501c335 elemental P. Okay. You figure out that mess in her head. I'm not going to try to. So at 8:56, Randy, George, Deanna all come in as well. And then there's handfuls of other people coming in. So my first thought is please, 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 please do not be viewers of the channel. That's the last thing we need in this courtroom. This is not a circus. This is real life, and why we share the story of our real life. It is not appropriate unless invited to actually invade our real life. And we don't invite many people into our real life. You see why. This is what's happened to us. Most people, 99.9%, cannot be trusted, unfortunately. At 8:56, Larry, DUI Guy Plus, he jumps in on Zoom as well. Great to see him. Great to see Brett and Therese. Unfortunate the circumstances that I have to see my friends in. And so I don't like that we're in these circumstances, but I like seeing and connecting with my friends again, even if it's a simple wave and a simple hi. Because, time can pass, but friendships last, the real ones, right? And so it was great to see them all. I see Randy talking to somebody on camera and pointing at things. Now, I've talked to Randy after the actual court case, and he told me what was going on. 2 more deputies come in. I mean, this courtroom is packed with deputies. And then more randoms come in, like handfuls of them. Like this courtroom probably had anywhere between 25 and 30 people in there, and I thought it was going to be George, Deanna, Randy, and maybe LIEnette if she chose to show. I'm shocked that she even showed. Oh, but there's more shocks coming. Way more shocks coming. So, the biggest shock ever, right? Her bankruptcy lawyer shows up. Yes, old Jerome, who's gotten in trouble for illegally giving out his electronic filing information to a disbarred attorney. Oh, sounds like all the attorneys in the anti-what-the-hell's ecosystem, huh? Yes, Jerome shows up. Her bankruptcy lawyer. Do you think Deuce was telling you the truth that all this money raised? Remember, he said they had an enthusiastic, qualified law firm that was ready to take on all the cases in Florida. He literally lists them. Fed 1, Fed 2, thumbnail, trespass 5. As a matter of fact, we're going to revisit that here just shortly. We are, because you need to know. He and Lisa Lee, they committed a felony, fraud by deception. They stole from those people that gave over $6,000. And why isn't anybody asking where the over $1,000 for the quote-unquote Ohio lawyer was? What's going on with that money? Is that theft as well? I promise you, we're going to be getting into all of this theft and all of the charges that are going to be coming out of all of these cases. So, while I'm wondering why all these people are here, and then Jerome is showing up on Zoom, but yet he couldn't even file the bankruptcy paperwork on time, yet he was here in a court hearing that he doesn't even represent LIEnette for. My mind's going, okay, so this guy can't file bankruptcy paperwork on time, but he can show up for a hearing. He's not supposed to be in. And as a matter of fact, LIEnette even proves it. Proves it because the judge asked her. Now, all these people are actually in this courtroom. I find out later because this is the criminal courtroom. Except this judge is taking the backup on the civil as all the reshuffling has happened in the Levy County Courthouse, okay, with Mosley retiring. So all of a sudden I see 25, 30 people all stand up and rise. They all rise, and I go, I know what's going on. Judge is coming in. So new judge is coming in, and I got to tell you, this guy does not disappoint. This guy is by the book. This is not a Judge Grudge. This is not a Judge Craig DeThomas by any stretch of the imagination. I got to tell you, I like this judge already. I beyond like this guy already. So LIEnette comes forward, whether she was called, I didn't have sound yet, I don't know. LIEnette comes forward to come up to the front. You usually have two tables, and then the judge is up top, and she comes up to the front. She goes over to the left, my viewing left. If I was in the courtroom walking in the doors, it would be to the right, but you got to realize everything's backwards when I'm viewing. Deputy grabs her a chair. She sits down at a desk with all these other, they're county workers, prosecutors, offices, 3Ls, assistants, you name it. They're all there in the courtroom. Now remember, Larry is on the Zoom as well, and it's very evident that Larry is a lawyer, and he's got his background, all of his legal books, the whole deal. I mean, Larry's always dressed to the T, looks the part, he is the part, he's the real deal. And so the judge recognizes this immediately, and all of a sudden we have sound, and the judge asks Larry if he's representing one of the parties today. And Larry goes, no, Judge. Actually, Mr. Shockett, Randy Shockett, is representing me. So I could see where the judge would actually be a little bit confused because Larry is at the top of the game, and the judge is going, this guy is representing somebody today. But Larry was smart because that's just what he is, right? And he lawyered up with Randy in regards to this thumbnail case. And so Randy represents myself, Larry, George, Tat, and others in this case. So then all of a sudden, Jerome, I used to kind of like that name, huh? Well, it's still not a bad name. You know, people used to say, Jeremiah, your name's Jeremiah. No, it's still Jeremy. So growing up, I was called Germ mostly. I mean, even more than Jeremy. So Germ has been my name from forever. So when the anti-what the Hales individuals called me Germ, they are literally in my circle. That was a term of endearment. Like I call George. I have all kinds of names for George that we laugh about, but they're terms of endearment. So as the anti-what the Hales ecosystem keeps calling me Germ, all they're doing is showing how much they love me, which is sick. I get it. It's sick. But at any rate, Jerome is there. And Jerome steps up and starts talking. He isn't called on. He just starts telling the judge. But the judge asks, who are you? What do you represent? And he goes, he goes on to state, no, I'm her lawyer in bankruptcy court, and it is due to my failure. He literally states this, due to my failure to file documents on time in the bankruptcy, it was dismissed. This is the guy that the anti-what the Hales ecosystem paid $6,000+ for, as they were lied to that he was going to represent her in the thumbnail case. He was going to represent her in the Trespass 5 case, Fed 1, Fed 2. They were completely and totally lied to and stolen from. And the guy is in the courtroom now, uninvited. Oh, well, you're going to find out who invited him. Stating that the bankruptcy is now null and void because he failed. I mean, I thought he was going to point the finger at LIEnette for sure. Like, she didn't give me the information, which I guarantee you she didn't. So much of the information is all screwed up already, and it's lies on the filings. So he's in there going, the only reason why the bankruptcy is actually null and void right now is because I failed to file. That's what your stolen money went to, all you fools who gave the money. Another horrific loser, failure lawyer who can't do the job right. Just like Deuce, like paint chips, like lips. You want me to keep going on? Like Stark. All right, let's keep going on. And then he states, LIEnette asked me to be here. So Judge didn't ask him to be there. LIEnette asked him to be there to state where the bankruptcy is at this point. The judge then asked, he says, is this a active bankruptcy? Is this still in the process? What's going on? And Jerome states, no, it's currently dismissed. We are refiling. Now, you need to understand, just because they're refiling, and they have refiled, the federal court has to grant it. I think there's a very slim chance that the federal court is even going to grant another round at this bankruptcy. And I want it. I want it so bad. I want the bankruptcy. Or do I? You know, you got to realize there's sometimes that I'm not sharing all my strategy. Sometimes I'm saying what I want them to hear, which is part of a strategy to win. And sometimes I'm saying what I don't want them to hear, which is also part of a strategy to win. Now, you're probably scratching your head right now going, what do you mean? Well, when it's all said and done, I'll let you know what I mean. Do I want the bankruptcy case? Do I not want the bankruptcy case? Do I keep saying I want it so bad so that they don't do it? Or do I keep saying I don't want it and I do want it so they don't know? Or I don't want it so they do it? This is going to be interesting, isn't it? The judge says, so there is no stay in a bankruptcy case right now, correct? And Jerome says, no, there is no stay. There's nothing. There's no bankruptcy case right now, but we are looking to reinstate the case. And the judge goes, we're moving forward. There is no federal stay. There is nothing right now. Remember LIEnette's ex parte letter that she wrote? All lies. And so Jerome is just simply there to say, I screwed up. I didn't file the paperwork on time, and we're going to try and get it reinstated. Which it's not reinstated. It has to be federally approved. It is not, probably will not, unfortunately. Or fortunately, who knows? We'll see. So the judge says, yep, we're moving forward. Federal law, he starts quoting law, federal law approves and allows me to keep moving forward. And so he then goes on to say, well, maybe potentially what we should do is case management conferences on these motions in the thumbnail case and the trespass 5 case. Now, I know when I say thumbnail case and trespass 5 case, there may be some individuals who are like, I'm just new to this, what the hell's and what's going on. Where do I find out all about this? There's years to get you up to speed on. And you can find it all in the ODD, Otter Freaks playlist, or Otter Creek playlist. I think it's Otter Creek. So the judge says maybe it would be smart if we have some case management conferences on the motions so that we can actually break down all the fees and the costs. Because remember, in Trespass 5, we are suing for all of the legal fees, all damages associated with what they've done with this frivolous lawsuit. That Deuce told LIEnette she was going to win millions in. Never, ever. And they failed to abide by safe harbor. Trespass 5... they never even responded. They're suing for $56,000 plus damages as well. Oh boy. And boy, did the judge have some things to say about Trespass 5. Oh, and that would be Therese and Brett and Rex and Deanna and Corporal Gregory of the Levy County Sheriff Department. So, I'm just in awe right now. I literally can't understand even what I just witnessed in court. But, it's just another day in Levy County. So Randy steps up and says, listen, LIEnette is in default. She is in default right now in bankruptcy, and she's in default right now in Trespass 5 as well because of that case. So Trespass 5, she never responded. So default means they bring forth the lawsuit. She has so many days to respond. They don't respond. There's a default judgment. Everybody get that? You have the right to respond. If you don't respond, then a judgment is placed against you. And Randy tells the judge, LIEnette is in default. She never, ever responded. Scott Stark, nothing. Deuce, nothing. She's in default. And the judge, the judge, you know what? Before we get into the judge, remember Jerome is there, right? talking about all of this going on. Remember that Deuce said that they were raising all this money for a lawyer that is enthusiastic, qualified to represent her in these 4 cases. Oh, you don't remember? Even as the judge asked Jerome if he was there to represent her and he said no, he was just there to clarify that he screwed up in the bankruptcy court. Well, let's go back. Let's hear what Deuce actually said. His own words.
We found a firm, an enthusiastic, qualified law firm that's ready to step in.
A lawyer who doesn't even have the right to file electronically now, who couldn't even get to the point of filing timely in his paperwork for LIEnette. This is an enthusiastic and qualified firm for federal court, for state court.
I think it appeals to people to step up and help, and that's where we're at now. Thankfully, right. we have a law firm. The fee is $6,000, and that's been discussed, and they're going to be able to really handle everything in Florida. There's 4 things going on in Florida.
I find that odd, as the judge literally asked Jerome, "Are you here to represent LIEnette Preston?" And he said, "No." Deuce, that's number 1, immoral, number 2, unethical, and number 3, illegal. You stole from the people.
There's the federal case. Then there's the second one with all the 10 or 11, I guess now, defendants. Then there's the thumbnails case.
You just heard it from his own lying, cowardly mouth. And Lisa Lee Repulsi, bleh, she's not out of this either. She knew exactly what she was promoting fundraising for. She put the link in her chat, the whole deal. She's an accomplice. They're both looking at charges for felony theft.
Number 4 is the Grangers.
The judge begins to speak to everybody and states that these motions in both the thumbnail case and the trespass 5 case with the Grangers are punitive and financials. And he literally states this to LIEnette. He states this. He looks at her and he says, checks will be written. You get this, right? He's telling LIEnette she's at fault. She will be paying. Do you understand, oh my goodness, what Deuce has done to this woman's life? First of all, they should have never stalked us. Second of all, they should have actually adhered to the cease and desist. Third of all, they should have never had third-party contact with Deuce, with Fleesa, with all these other stupid lame, and you name them. They're all there, right? Bonehead. We could keep going on if we wanted to, but none of this had to happen. If anybody would have just used some common sense, and now all of these individuals, they're going to lose everything in their lives in the court system. He says checks are going to be written. Then he goes, well, if a bankruptcy does come into play again, which they have filed a motion, again, it has to be approved, then things will be paused. But as for right now, we're moving forward. We are moving forward. And again, he asked, Jerome, do you represent LIEnette? Nope, absolutely not. And LIEnette then interrupts him, literally interrupts him. And I have to admit, I start laughing because LIEnette's first words are, my lawyer died. And I'm going, oh my goodness, this is my mom died. My mom didn't die again. And I start giggling on Zoom and I have to put my head down like this. George is in the courtroom. We're going to get George on here in just a moment and get her whole perspective. I mean, the insanity of it all. But LIEnette uses the famous line, died. My lawyer died. Now, I don't wish death upon anybody. And if they do die, I wish that they spend eternity with their creator. That's a decision they have to make. I can't make it for them. But LIEnette starts immediately. And she goes, why would you hold me to this? This is such a bad deal for me, to the judge. Now, keep in mind what LIEnette has tried to do, and successfully with Judge Craig Thomas in the past, right? This is the same garbage that she's done in court before. And Judge Groby literally, very politely, but very sternly told her, ma'am, you're in over your head. I can't give you legal advice. The only thing I can do is tell you, you better get an attorney because this isn't going to work out well for you. And he shut her up immediately. He literally told her, you are getting judgments against you. You better lawyer up in a real hurry because you're screwed. The judge is literally telling her she's screwed. Oh my goodness. And he goes, you are going to be held to the exact same standard as if you were a lawyer in this courtroom. Do you see the complete and total contrast from Judge Grudge to Judge Groby now? I mean, just mind-boggling. And I'm going, I love this guy. I love this guy. He put her in her place, told her she is going to be writing checks. There is going to be money going to be going out to us, to the Grangers, tells her she better lawyer up because this isn't going to work out well for her at all. She is way in over her head. This is the judge. I loved it. Oh my goodness. We are working right now to get the video, if there's video, but it's a criminal courtroom, so we don't know if there's actual video or not. We're attempting to get it, just like we FOIA everything else. All right. And then there's this whole conversation about a default judgment on the trespass 5. Default judgment meaning that the lawsuit was filed by Madam Mayor and Brett Granger. So Teresa and Brett, they filed, and LIEnette doesn't respond. Stark doesn't respond. There's no response. Therefore, they had elapsed that time frame. Think of it as the same as her bankruptcy court. That's so many days to actually respond with the proper filings. Her enthusiastic, qualified law firm, which is nothing more than a failed lawyer in Miami who can't get anything correct or right, just like Deuce, just like Paint Chips, just like Lips, just like. You know, this whole group of freaks and fools. And so they do nothing, and the whole conversation starts between Randy and the judge on, this is default, this is easy, this is just going to be default judgment. In other words, let me make this very, very, very clear. LIEnette lost already in Trespass 5. That's what the judge and Randy were talking about. The judge said, all right, this is easy. This is a default. Just file your motion and it'll be approved. That's it. That is it. LIEnette is already 99.9% lost on Trespass 5. That is a $56,000 plus damages. And the judge told Randy, just give me the list of all the damages. File it, I'll approve it, we move forward. That will be done before bankruptcy can get denied or approved. So it looks like Brett and Therese are going to be owning turd purgatory here real soon. Now they moved to Tennessee. I think we're going to get new neighbors, George. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. They're coming back. Okay. Well, at least we know there's a camper hookup there already for them, right? They're traveling, living their best life in their RV. Oh my goodness. Oh, you cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Okay. Judge then goes on to tell LIEnette, you better find another lawyer, and tells Randy, file for default immediately. And then the judge says, he goes on to then say that, oh, yes. He wants full breakdown of all the finances. He will give LIEnette 10 days to respond to the default judgment. And Randy even goes so far as to say, hey, we'll give her 30 days if she wants 30 days. But it's almost a done deal. And is she really going to respond? Is she going to get a lawyer? No, she's guilty. She has no money. She has nothing except she's doing her hair. And as you're going to hear from George, her nails were done too. So all of you people giving her money when she's saying she's filing indigent, she can't pay for food for the animals. She can't even pay for food for herself. Yet she can get her nails done. She can get her hair done. Think those are fringe things? Those are frivolous things? When you're begging nonstop for money? Yes, they are. So the judge goes on to say, we're going to set a formal hearing. We're going to meet in my office afterwards, and we're going to set a formal hearing, right? That means Randy and LIEnette must go back to the office with his judicial assistant and schedule this, okay? LIEnette immediately storms out the doors. You've seen it in police CAD reports where she just hangs up on them. You've seen it in the hearings where she tells them, get off my property, I'll deal with them. She storms out of the courtroom. She was just court ordered to go back to his office and confer on a date for a hearing for thumbnail case. So trespass 5 is a done deal. It's going to be a default judgment. Randy's going to file a motion. Judge is going to approve it. She'll have 10 days to respond to it. Brett and Therese win. Done deal. And then for us, there's going to be an in-person formal hearing. As a matter of fact, what happens is LIEnette storms out. The judge then tells the assistant, where is she? The judge has other matters to take care of. The judge and the assistant send Rex, the bailiff, out to go find her. Rex states openly in public, she never does what anybody tells her to do anyway. Sends other bailiffs and sheriffs out there to go and find her, deputies. Nobody can find her. She's gone. She's literally gone. The judicial assistant says, I ain't screwing around with this. I'm scheduling it anyway. It is going to be done. Very much so. It'll just be done. As a matter of fact, here's exactly what happened. So Candace Thomas, the judicial assistant, wanted to confirm with LIEnette the date. There was no conflict for her. LIEnette wasn't there. Rex went outside to the courtroom, try and get her, come back inside, talk to the judicial assistant. The JA, judicial assistant, said, I'm setting the hearing anyway. So now we have a hearing set for thumbnail for October 22nd, 1:30 to 3:30. 2 hours. 2 hours in person, no Zoom allowed. So I guess when I know I'm going to be down in Florida again, usually I try to be there at the end of October anyway, the beginning of November. So I guess looks like George and I will be in Florida October 22nd in person. And what he wants in that hearing is all expenses broken down, all of my legal fees that she's going to be paying for, all damages that she's secured as well. And all of this is going to happen before a hearing for bankruptcy. Now, this is the big thing. If bankruptcy does happen and a stay happens or a pause in these cases, it's just a waiting game. She's lost. She's lost. Deuce destroyed her life. Felisa destroyed her life. These freaks and fools destroyed her life completely and utterly and totally. Let's call George and see what she has to say because she was there in person. I got George, and man, she be looking like a snack. All right, baby.
Do I look like a bagel with sesame seeds?
You look a little better than that. You were there in person. Give me your insights. What? Whoa. Juggling you around. All right. What happened?
Where do I even begin? So I showed up at about 8:45, 15 minutes prior to the scheduled hearing. It was a status conference that the new presiding judge wanted scheduled today. And so Randy was there, and we just kind of sat in a room for a little bit until closer to 9. We walk in, actually we leave the side room, and as soon as Deanna opens up the door, she literally makes eye contact with LIEnette, because LIEnette is walking towards the courtroom.
Ooh.
And she hurries up and closes the door because it was just pure evil. And so we go inside. LIEnette's sitting to the right of the courtroom, in the back of the courtroom, but the very first row. And then
what'd she look like?
All I saw was the back of her head. Like, she had her hair down and it was dark, like freshly colored.
How is somebody who's indigent and can't feed animals or a child or herself has money for hair and nails? I don't understand this.
I don't get it either, but we haven't gotten to the nails yet. But I'm sitting down and I just kind of look over, and she's holding her phone like this and typing like this, like hitting buttons on her phone like this with her knuckle. And I'm like, that's so weird that she's doing that. And that's when I noticed that she got her nails done. She had a French tip. She got her nails done, whether they were press-ons or whatever. But she took the time to make herself look presentable in court. And I can see you up on the Zoom screen. I see Brett and Therese up on the television screen because you guys joined Zoom. And then I saw attorney Larry Foreman up on the screen. And then later on, her bankruptcy attorney appeared on the Zoom. But she was wearing mostly all black. And then she was wearing like weird flip-flop sandals. Like not even cute. They were just like the kind that you wear around the house. The slide-ons. So we're sitting around. We don't start immediately at 9, and we're just waiting. And Randy goes and takes a seat at the front of the courtroom. We're in the back of the courtroom, meaning behind the door that divides the courtroom. And the judge walks in. Everyone stands, and then we sit down, and everyone identifies themselves, and her attorney at first the judge asked Larry Foreman if he was representing LIEnette.
Oh my god. Did you see did you see me laughing when she said my attorney died, my lawyer died, and I had to put my head down because of the "my mom died, my mom didn't die" comment?
My mom didn't die.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Good.
No, I didn't. And I was trying to take notes on my phone because I have notes in my phone. I was taking digital notes. But he goes on. Larry tells him, "No, Your Honor, I am represented by Randy." But clearly her ex parte letter of lies to the judge debunked everything she said because she showed up to court, right?
She was there.
She was there. Where was the child?
She
Remember,
debunked herself.
She couldn't leave the child alone. Yep, she said she couldn't leave the child alone. She's the only one that can care for her. She can't leave her child alone with her ex-husband. I mean, clearly they were probably in the Jeep like usual.
Debunked herself.
She clearly was not afraid to attend, like she said in her lies to the judge. And it wasn't a safety risk. You're in Ohio. So why did she think that it was a safety risk when you're in a completely different state?
Maybe she's scared it was going to get too hot in there because you be smoking hot.
Anyways, so the child was left alone and out of LIEnette's sight for approximately 20 to 25 minutes because that's how long we were in there from the time Dee saw her, made eye contact with her, till the time that we left the court. And by the way, she stormed out of the courtroom because I don't think today was a good day for her.
Not at all. The judge even told her she's going to be writing checks and she's in over her head and she better lawyer up.
Yeah. So the judge did say that the bankruptcy is not prohibiting the case at this time. Therefore, there is no stay. And her bankruptcy attorney, he confirmed. He says, yes, absolutely, there is no stay. But explained that, yes, the case was dismissed. The bankruptcy case was dismissed due to his mess up of not filing by the deadline. However, there's some upcoming here in October, but still there is no stay. The hearing in October will say, okay, yes, go forward, or no, we're not going forward. There is no automatic stay.
And Brett and Therese are going to get a judgment, a default judgment before that hearing, even in the bankruptcy, of whether it's accepted or rejected again. So Brett and Therese are already going to get a hearing and a judgment before that. Looks like Brett and Therese are going to get turd purgatory. We're getting new neighbors, baby.
So the judge did say that that the Granger suit, he did say that yes, it was in default, and that default motion is needed, and that he would have approved it had it been filed already. But he told him to go ahead and submit that motion for default.
Yeah, it would have been approved today. It would have been approved today if it was filed already. It would have been done deal. Trespass 5 would have been done today.
Yes, because of bad faith of all of these lawsuits filed. He even used those words, bad faith. So her attorney, her bankruptcy attorney, did say that, you know, they don't know if they'll accept it, therefore there's no stay, and that today's hearing will go forward. But he did want a continuance for another day because the judge also wanted another motion from Randy to itemize the sanctions and the amount,
and that will be for our hearing in October 22nd. So all the itemized damages, all the itemized fees and damages will be for our hearing October 2nd.
Correct. So then that's when LIEnette interjected, and she goes, "Your Honor," and tells the judge, tries to play the "woe is me" sad story that her lawyer died, and that she's this is a really bad deal for her. And the judge told her that she needs to get a lawyer and that he needs to follow the law, and that he cannot give her legal advice, and then she tried saying, "Well, I don't even know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how to get a hold of any of the documents because my lawyer died." Yet, isn't it funny that she can't get a hold of any of the documents because her attorney died, but her PR team
has everything.
And Deuce, they go over those documents online. So the judge told her that he can't give her legal advice and that she needed to seek an attorney, and then she tried to pull the same sob story again on this new judge, and he politely and sternly told her, "Ma'am, you're in over your head."
He basically told her,
legal advice.
"You're screwed." But he did it sternly and politely and said, "You are screwed. You are going to be writing checks to these people."
Yep, he said, "The only thing I can tell you is to get an attorney because this is not going to work well for you," and that shut her up real quick. And people were just giving her the stink eye. I kind of looked around the courtroom when he said that, and people were just giving her the stink eye. So the judge did confirm that the Grangers are legally entitled to a default, and he requested that Randy file that motion. And then the judge also wanted Randy to speak with his judicial assistant to reschedule an actual live hearing within 30 days, and that he needed a couple hour window.
And LIEnette ran, stormed out. Yeah.
He wanted a formal hearing. He wants people there in person. So anyways, back to her bankruptcy attorney, since he confirmed that he does not represent LIEnette in any other case but the bankruptcy, not the 3 other cases that Deuce and Fleesa lied to the viewers and their donators for that $6,000 retainer. So that's
horrible.
On record.
Yeah, completely. It's horrible what they've done. That's a felony. Those are felony charges. I can't wait till these guys get charged with all these criminal acts they've done. And it is going to come out in the lawsuits. It is absolutely going to come out, just like the Laura Owens lawsuit. It is absolutely going to come out.
So you called me as soon as we left the courtroom, which was approximately about 9:17, because that's what my call log says. And LIEnette stormed out, but yet she claims that she's disabled and has a bad spine with all these degenerative bone discs issues. And
she moves faster than you and me. You and I cannot even move that fast. Our bodies hurt. Our backs hurt. We cannot move the way she moves.
No. I mean, the way she describes her disc issues, she should be a blob in a wheelchair, but she clearly has an erect spine and can walk and speed walk just fine and storm out of the courthouse. So the bailiff comes out in the hallway too with us, and he's like, "Where's Mrs. Presto?" He called her Presto.
She disappeared.
She disappeared just like that. And so he said he told her to wait. He told her to wait because a new court date was needed. And he goes, "But she never listens."
Shocking.
Yeah, so then he asked the other deputies on staff that were by the metal detector to try and flag her down. He's like, "Did a dark-haired woman just leave?" They're like, "Yeah, she just left." He's like, "Can you try and stop her?" And she was already long gone. And
it
so
was too late.
We met with the judicial assistant, and we have a new hearing scheduled, and it is for a 2-hour window. I'm not going to say the times, but it is scheduled for October 22nd.
I already said the times, so. All right, anything else you want to add?
I mean, I guess she's got to look for an attorney, according to the judge. And, failure to appear may result in dismissal, default, or other sanctions.
It's default.
Yep.
All right, so
that's what happened at the status conference that was scheduled for today.
And looks like we're going to be back in Florida. This ain't anywhere near over. Stay tuned.